You're all set, Chairperson.
Good evening and welcome everyone to tonight's meeting for the Parks, Recreation and Community Services Agency Commission meeting. Please note that this meeting is taking place entirely by teleconference via Zoom. The public is accessing the meeting via the Santa Ana YouTube channel or the city's website. The commission members and I, along with the executive director, recording secretary, and city staff are in different locations. Please bear with us as the technology may disrupt the flow of the meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order on October 28th, 2021 at 5:37 p.m. Will you please call roll, recording secretary?
Thank you, Chairperson. Commissioner Gomez?
Present.
Commissioner Nelson? Commissioner Torreblanca? Commissioner Ruby Wu? I see Commissioner Wu is connected. Commissioner Ramirez?
Present.
And Commissioner Moet?
Present.
You have a quorum, Commissioner. Let me just also inform the commissioners, if we do happen to drop one of the commissioners, either we lose them by technology or they do have to leave at any certain point in time of the meeting, we will lose said quorum. So at that point in time, we would have to stop the meeting.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is a time for public comments. Do we have any people wishing to speak today?
Chairperson Moet, we do not have any public comments today.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent calendar, and item 1 is the minutes of last month's meeting on September 23rd. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Stop.
Recording secretary, can you call roll?
Commissioner Gomez?
Yes.
Commissioner Wu?
Here.
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Present.
Commissioner Moet?
Yes. Okay. Item 2 is excused absences. Do we have any excused absences that need approval at this time?
Chairperson, absences today include Commissioner Nelson and Torreblanca. Mr. Nelson did say he was going to join us. Mr. Torreblanca was not able to provide us his confirmation for the meeting.
Do we have a motion to approve the excused absences today?
I can motion to approve.
And I'll second
I
that
second.
motion. Can you please call roll, recording secretary?
Commissioner Gomez?
Yes.
Commissioner Wu?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Present.
And Commissioner Moet?
Yes. And that concludes the consent calendar. Moving on to the business calendar, tonight we have one item listed on the agenda as item 3, which is the review and discussion of proposed City of Santa Ana events policy and events permit guide. I will turn this over to Acting Recreation Manager Juan Lara for this item.
You're on
Sorry,
mute.
can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, and good evening. It is my pleasure now to briefly introduce to you our proposed event permit policy and its accompanying guide. You will be able to find more details on it as part of your packet. But again, this is just to give you a brief introduction as to this new policy that we're looking to implement. Next slide, please. The reason for the policy is so that we can formally have a guidance for the use of city facilities as it relates to anything that we would provide permits for, including the use of park facilities, the filming of either motion pictures, commercials, or other type of media, the land use certificates, and I'll go into more details to what those means a little later on in our presentation, but as well as then our special event permits. Now, why are we doing this? Well, the reason why we're looking to establish this new policy is to provide equitable and reasonable access to city public facilities. And doing so, again, what we're trying to do is just to make sure that it does cover or govern all of the city properties and its supporting amenities. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, the benefits of the policy is first and foremost that it will align with the city's core mission, visions, and values. It will establish an equitable pricing, as well as then provide access to those who are interested in obtaining any of those type of permits. It will operate in a fiscal and responsible manner. And then it'll most importantly also support a healthy, safe, and vibrant community. Next slide, please. The proposed policy goes into the types of permits that the city will be issuing out. Then it'll detail the permit process for each of those specific permits. It would spell out the requirements for each specific permit, as well as then it would also include a breakdown of the fees and the required insurance. Now, briefly, I shared with you there are 4 different types of permits that this policy will govern. The first one being the park facility, which primarily would provide a permit for the use of any park or field in our city. The film permit, which would provide for the the production of a commercial motion picture or electronic videotape in any privately owned or property or controlled by the city. We also have the land use permit, which provides for temporary use of private commercial property for short-term use. And lastly, we have our special event permit, which provides for the temporary use of public property for short-term use as well. Now, again, as I mentioned, this policy will establish the corresponding fees, as well as then the required insurance that each of these permits holders will need to obtain before conducting any sort of activity under those permitted guidelines. Next policy, please. Next slide, please. The event permit guide, again, is a supporting document that is being produced alongside this policy so that it provides then the detailed information that any individual that wants to obtain any of these different types of permits will need to know to then be successful in obtaining that permit. So the guide will correspond with the policy, and once it is established. As I mentioned, it will outline the procedures and requirements for each individual permit that the city will be issuing, and it will also provide examples and links to relevant documents. Next slide, please. Now, the next steps for the implementation of this policy is for it to be introduced, reviewed, and approved at a future city council meeting, and we hope to bring it to council possibly in the second meeting in November. If and once approved by council, then we will move forward with providing notification of the new policy and procedures to all former permit holders, as well as any new groups or individuals that would be interested in soliciting a permit. The city council will also then have an opportunity to review and approve a recommended listing of amended miscellaneous fees that again will be included in the citywide miscellaneous fee schedule. And lastly, we will move forward with the implementation of the policy and the corresponding fees. Next slide, please. So again, this is in an effort to streamline the process, to make it more user-friendly, and most importantly, again, to make it accessible to those that have an interest in having a permitted event in our city. At this time, we will entertain any questions or input that you may have. No questions?
Hi, Lara. Sorry, I have pressing unmute. And Commissioner Gomez, I have a question in regards to, was there ever another, is this like replacing a policy that was existing, or was there never a policy and then we just happened to do this?
And I'll defer back to our executive director, but for the most part, we did have a policy. What we're working on is on updating our policies, making them again, more streamlined, and that they are addressing the different needs of the community. So as we are evolving in the permitting process, we want the policy and procedure to align, with those needs.
Yeah, I would just like to say a few things that we didn't have an official policy. Some of it was noted in the municipal code, like parades and special events. So what we did is just took all the information, gathered it together, put it into a policy, and then also added some things. There's priorities, user classification priorities. So I don't believe there has been a policy that the city council has ever adopted. So this is kind of, I guess, the first event policy. Now, this is under the city manager's office, and then she will designate whoever to implement this policy. Parks and Recreation has a role in it. Police department has a role in it. Planning and building, and so on and so forth. As you see in your packet, it says city manager's policy, and it's under that office's authority. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other
Commissioner
questions?
Ramirez? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to ask for the reservations and for like the permits, would how far advance can you go to make the reservation or for the permit for the use of the facility? Like what's the window? Are they going to be open every month that you can make a permit for that month, or like how far in advance can that permit be made?
Well, and again, that depends on the type of permit that is being solicited. So we have a minimum time window of 30 days, for the application process to be initiated. But again, if it is a large scale event, that somebody's planning, we also then request for that permit process to begin 45 days in advance. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was an online component to this application process.
Absolutely. And again, as I mentioned, what we're trying to do with, updating and streamlining the process, and then again, creating accessibility and making it more user-friendly, it will entail having all this information, policy included, corresponding applications, and the like, all to be accessible online.
Are you able to apply through the website, or?
Yes, that would be the,
cool.
the primary form of submitting applications. Any other questions? Well, seeing none, then again, we appreciate your time, and obviously, we hope that you will be in full support of this new policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. Moving on to the business calendar tonight, we have one item. Oh, whoops, that's the informational items. No action is needed from the commission on these items. However, this is a time for city staff to provide a brief summary of their reports and for commissioners to ask questions. So next we have Brian Sternberg giving the library staff report.
All right. Hello. Good evening, everybody. I'm just going to give everybody a really quick update on a few things that are happening at the library. First, I just want to give an update. It's been a little while since I've talked about our bookmobile. We are expecting it now in January. The vendor has had some supply chain issues with semiconductor chips and getting parts and chassis from Ford Motor Company. We're going, like I said, with a smaller Ford transit vehicle that's more like a tech mobile, but it'll also have some books on there. But expect that coming in January. You'll see us out at schools here in Santa Ana, parks, and other locations as well, including special events when we have those through the city. More information about that is in my report. Next, I just want to talk a little bit about the book dispensing kiosks. We have two kiosks that will be going out, one at the train station at the Sartsi and also at the Pell Center. So those will be, for kids and adults to, check out materials. We'll even be able to put some, what we call take it and make it kind of craft kits in there for people to pick up as well. So those should be coming online really, really soon. Look for those to be available by the end of November at those two locations. We're also hoping to expand some of that into the Main and New Hope libraries as well in the future, along with our laptop kiosks that are already there. Next up, just want to give you a little bit of a Revive Santa Ana update, especially with our main library transformation project. We just got done with our first mandatory walkthrough with some potential bidders that are architects. So it's really exciting. We'll see how all the bids turn out, and hopefully we'll have an architect on board soon to start our complete renovation and transformation of our main library, which hasn't had any updates since the late 80s. So this will be a really welcome change for our main library, along with our new children's play and learn activity patio as well. And then we'll be out at the Winter Village ice rink that'll be coming up. The library will push out a lot of our programs out there into the plaza. So look for, things for kids and families to do. I think we're going to have some like Nutcracker themed, the Nutcracker, that type of thing out there for kids to make things and put together different crafts. So Nutcracker, I know, is going to be one of them, just as a little sneak peek. And that's pretty much all I have. We have a lot of programs that I have listed here for October. If you have any other questions about these programs or anything else, I'm here to answer them now.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5, the Parks and Facilities Staff Report from Mr. Ron Ono.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Mr. Ono.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to present the Park Services report. Report will include several projects that's under construction, several projects that may be in design, and projects that were done by in-house staff. The first project you see is the Santiago Gashouse project. Some of you are already aware of it. We already under construction. We hit a main water line, which gave us really the opportunity to install a playground area because we had to raise the grade in that area to cover the water line. And by raising the grade, we created slopes to allow us to install slides down the slope, similar to the slide that you saw at the water reservoir, the large big slides. So we can reinstall those slides, not as large, but at least more natural looking. A lot of the components in this play area is going to include the natural looking acorns. The rubber surfacing is going to represent the oak leaves and acorns. So we're in the process of getting this project in design so we can get implemented as a change order with the Santiago Gashouse project. And I believe you all know what that project entails. It entails the the landscape and irrigation, amphitheater, restroom renovation, and the gas house renovation in the area between the Oak Grove and the park restroom. The other project that we've done is the ball field sports lighting project that is at Jerome and Riverview Park. The project, the LED lights are near completion. We're just waiting for panels, and then we've already done one light test at Riverview, so that project will be completed soon. The other project that we're doing is park security lighting at various park sites and along the PE bike trail and at Sandpoint Park. The slide that you see on the screen right now is the El Salvador basketball court. As you know, we're renovating the basketball court, and we thought it was a great opportunity to create something different along with art on the basketball court. This is something that LeBron James has done in several courts throughout the United States, and we thought we'll try to mimic some of that artwork and see if it works here in Santa Ana to kind of create more lively atmosphere in the Santiago Park. The next slide is Santa Anita Park synthetic turf and parking lot expansion. You all know about this project. We're basically waiting for HUD to approve the environmental documents. Once that's approved, we can start releasing bids. So we hope that approval will come soon before the end of the year. The other project we're doing is ball field lighting projects at various parks. We just awarded the black vinyl fencing to be installed at Adams, Riverview, Delhi, Madison, Rosita, El Salvador, Heritage, and Morrison. We've already completed El Salvador, and we'll be starting Riverview after November the 14th. One of the other items that you're well aware of, that we've got several tree planting projects. Unfortunately, due to the death of Vladimir Gorin, the agency, the nonprofit agency indicated that they would like to cancel the grant, so the state has agreed. So we're canceling the remaining tree planting at Thornton Park. Santiago volunteer tree planting went great. 41 volunteers successfully planted 50 trees on September the 11th. The slide you see on the screen right now, on the upper left-hand corner is Delhi Park, where the area was graded to install the Delhi mini pitch soccer court that you see on the lower left-hand corner. We just recently had a groundbreaking event on Tuesday, which was a well turnout for that, and we'll plan a ribbon cutting once the project is completed. The slide you see to the right is the Cesar Chavez Campesino Park field renovation project. On the top right-hand corner is the field getting renovated, and the bottom right-hand corner is the field already fully established. That basically completes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item 6, the Santa Ana Zoo report from Ethan Fisher.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'll just go through some of the things in our report for the zoo. We have a few animal moves happening or in process. We're going to be receiving some different howler monkeys. We're sending out some lizards, some millipedes. So lots of different things in the works. We had a number of permits that we were due, and we applied for those, which is something that we do every year. Also, we've been doing a number of different maintenance projects throughout different animal habitats. As we're going into winter, we're checking all of our heaters, making sure everything's working. So, and then doing some replanting, fixing some walls, all sorts of different things like that. Right now, we have Boo at the Zoo happening. So we had 3 nights of Boo at the Zoo last weekend, and we have another 2 nights this weekend. We did have last Friday night was free for Santa Ana residents. And I don't have, actually, I need to check and get the tally of how many people came, but it was a nice night, and the residents came, experienced the zoo, they got a gift on their way out, and then were able to ride the train for free. Also, we had some little libraries that were, one was new to the zoo in our farm area, and one was just refreshed, and they're doing great and well used. In the report, there's some notes about the youth employees that are working at the zoo through the youth employment program. And then with some of the bigger projects, we're still waiting to hear back on the Prop 68 grant that we applied for the primate forest. Hopefully, we're told in late fall we'll hear back. And we did some more tree planting. We received some money for a future project in the farm for a rainwater garden. Also of note, at the end of September, we held an orchid show, which was really popular and well attended. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone on the commission may have. Okay.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. With that, we'll move on to item 7, the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services staff report from Juana.
And hello once again, and now I'm happy to provide you with a brief summary of the Recreation Community Services Division and the work that's been done through the last month or so since we last met. Again, starting with our senior centers, we continue to provide valuable services and programs to our seniors on a daily basis. And we continue to add also new opportunities for them to remain engaged and active. One of our newest additions to our programming is our technology class, which is very popular for the seniors, and we're bringing all of their technology so that our staff can help them to better understand and maximize, their usage. We are also continuing to add participants to our transportation program, thereby again bringing more and more seniors to our senior centers on a daily basis. Moving on to our recreation centers, Jerome and Salgado Center have moved into the next phase of our reopening. In doing so, we are now providing open gym time at both facilities for the community to come and enjoy, as well as then our traditional after-school adventures drop-in program with a variety of activities for youth in elementary and junior high school groups to completely partake free of charge. For the teenagers also, we continue to offer a very successful teen excursion program. As a reminder, in September, we took them to Boomers in Irvine. In October, we took them to Knott's Berry Farm. And now in November, we're planning a whale watching tour for the teens in that program. And then lastly, for our city produced events, we've closed out our Pacific Symphony on the Go concert series and movie nights on October 20th at Thornton Park with a very successful, again, performance and very well attended event. We are also very, very excited, with the successful implementation of the Revive Santa Ana 5K run this past Saturday. We had over 1,400 people partake in the event, though it was raining and we had a bunch of traffic related issues. But again, as a whole, we consider the event to be very, very successful. And lastly, just wanted to again put it on your radar so you can put on your calendars. We have Plaza Navideña planned for Saturday, November 20th at Plaza Calle 4, beginning at 5 p.m. So we hope that you are able to join us for that event. And with that, again, you can find more information on our report. But if you have any additional questions, I'm happy to address them at this time.
Juan, this is Ruby Wu. Last year you had giveaways at each of the parks. Are you going to do this year? The Christmas giveaways. Christmas at the community centers, so to speak.
I'm sorry, Ms. Wu. Actually, all of our facilities were closed last year because of COVID. So I'm not exactly sure what giveaways you're referencing.
Well, last year we had Christmas parties at the different centers. El Salvador Park had sponsored the Christmas party. I've been giving one for the last 20 years there at the park, but last year Park and Rec took it over, or was that a city program versus Park and Rec?
Again, I would actually need to look more into that, and we could probably have this conversation offline, just so that we're on the same page and we can research the information that you're requesting. We'll be glad to then provide an update at the next meeting.
Well, I thought last year it was very successful. It was very well done, and gifts we gave. Park and Rec gave out about 300 gifts, so to speak. So I was thinking you were going to do this again this year, but I would like an update on that. Thank you.
Yeah, it might have been the city manager's office and other entities. I can't remember who was involved in that, but yeah, we can find out what happened and who provided all the giveaways and such. I think it might have been several agencies, including yours.
Okay, well, it was very successful, and the neighborhood association really appreciated the help. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And again, yeah, we'll do some research and provide you with an update at the next meeting. But as Ms. Rudloff stated, more than likely that was probably a city manager office initiated program for the community. Any other questions?
I had a question. So I was fortunate enough to be there when you guys had the Knott's Berry Farm outing with the youth, which I thought was so powerful and such a beautiful thing to witness. There was a little mix-up where kids from Kids Work ended up going, and they weren't guaranteed their spots. So we had like 25 young people that weren't able to go because there was a miscommunication. My concern came when it's are we giving specific nonprofits priority, or are we opening it all to all Santa Ana youth, right? That was one of the questions that I had, because I don't mind partnering up with nonprofits, but if they're taking like lots that's meant for all the youth in Santa Ana, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe other commissioners could weigh in. That was one of my concerns. And my other concern, I really hope that you continue like this last time you guys announced it on social media, which I think was really great. That way it could be accessible again to any parent that sees that. And my other question, I'm sorry, before I forget, because I'm old, is it always going to be all the excursions from that center, or will it rotate to make sure that's more accessible, like more central Santa Ana, because I think that one's closer, I think, to either Garden Grove or Westminster. It's kind of like the borderline of Santa Ana. Are we able to make it more like centralized for everyone? And those were my questions.
Not a problem. And let me see if I am able to address each and every one of them. For starters, is the participation in the program is open to youth in the community as a whole. We are not allocating spaces for any nonprofits or other youth serving organizations. Now, the way we are actually controlling registration and participation in the program, and again, we'll look into how that mix-up or misinformation happened, is that we are only accepting registration for those activities, for those excursions, via our civic rec program. So youth that are interested in participating need to actually go into that website and register. And obviously once spaces fill up, then registration closes, and we're not, we are able to establish a wait list in case there are some last minute cancellations, and we can reach out to those on the wait list and ask them to come in. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that mix up. And to be honest with you, this is the first I hear of it, that we hear of it, but we'll definitely look into it and address it moving forward. As to the location for where the gatherings take place to then go on the excursions, that currently is Salgado Center. And that is primarily because the supervisor and supporting staff for the program are housed out of that facility. So it makes it a little easier, since then they have everything accessible to them at the center. But we will take into consideration, the fact that, yes, we do want to also make a little more accessible, including looking into possibly providing additional transportation to and from the departing facility. But for now, yes, that is the meeting point. But we will definitely look into seeing how we can make it more feasible and accessible for all. Any other questions?
And I love the concept, by the way. I think that is so beautiful that we're investing our youth and taking them to places they've never been. It was like such a beautiful thing to see. I loved it. Thank you.
Great to hear. And yes, no, we definitely hope to continue and expand these type of programs. All right, anything else?
Commissioner Ramirez, I had two comments. One was a question. You said that for the November event, you guys are planning to take kids out to go whale watching. My only question with that would be is, do you guys know what company or what if you guys gonna be charting a boat privately to go out whale watching, or what's the process of like, what are you guys taking to go take the kids out to go whale watching?
Right. And no, we will not be chartering our own boat. You know, again, you know, we do have limitations in terms of the number of youth that we can take. You know, so I don't have the specific information as to which company we are working with, but obviously, as you can imagine, we need to go with the company that provides us also the best deal. You know, so that in turn we can take more kids. You know, because of the affordability of the activity. You know, but you know, eventually, if the program continues to grow as we hope it does, and we're able to sustain, you know, a large number of youth participating, then we could probably even look into chartering our own boat. But for now, yes, we're just going along with a charter company that would have the spaces that we need to take our kids on the trip.
And then the other comment was just a comment for the City 5K. I saw pictures of people going. Sadly, I wasn't able to attend. I had other stuff blocking my schedule for that. But I know people who attended, and they attended almost every year now. And I want to say thank you for all the work that you did on that one. I know a lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people had fun. I had people who were doing their own personal growth adventure on that 5K. Some people who did a walk on that one just to spend time with family. And I do appreciate you guys hosting it and also like making it feasible for people to join, because it is free as well. To allow families to get together. So I appreciate all the work you guys did on that. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate the confidence, and you know, we look forward again to continuing with that event year after year. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to echo that sentiment. I actually attended the 5K for the first time this year, and I am by no means a runner, but I really enjoyed seeing everyone get out and get active, even in the rain. And if anything, the rain was perfect for running. So congratulations.
And before I forget, I need to say, like, the check-in process, I don't know if Monica, when you went, the line was huge and you were like, oh my goodness, this line is huge. It went by so fast. It was so organized. I was so proud of everybody there. It was so smooth. And I have to say, Lisa, we need those same shirts for next year.
Yes.
Compared to last year's or the year before that, when we did the 5K, these shirts are above and beyond.
Yes, they did a great job with the shirts. And we need to make sure that you all that participated, commissioners, we need you at the front with the city council. I didn't know you were there, but we want you in the picture. And we want you at the start line. So darn it, we need to get better at communicating with you guys to let you know, because we have so many groundbreakings and grand openings and events. We need to get you a list and make sure you have that opportunity. So my fault. So sorry about that.
That's a great idea, Lisa. Thank you for taking the lead on that. Thank you. Thank you, Letta.
Okay. Well, if nothing else, again, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda are commission comments. This is a time for each commissioner to provide comments if you wish, but it is not required. We'll start with Vice Chair Ramirez.
Just comments are basically saying I'm very excited for the upcoming months. It's getting into the heavy family season. It's coming to Halloween this weekend. A lot of families gonna be spending time together, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas, or whatever holidays else that you guys celebrate. But it is coming around to that family time of the year. So I want to say I'm very excited for the projects that's going on, the parks that are being built, the facilities that are being made, and all the other programs that are being kind of made easier or more accessible for people in the community. So I'm just saying I'm really excited for it, and I'm looking forward to being with you guys for the next few months and trying to see what we can do to make the community better, the city better, and just makes the Parks and Rec of Santa Ana just shine a lot brighter. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to add on that, we also have a winter wonderland that's happening in the Civic Center. So that is going to be awesome. It's going to be December 7th is, I think, a soft launch. So we'll make sure that we invite you all so you can put some skates on and get out there. But we're also going to be partnering with the Ducks, and all of this is going to be free to the, well, I'm sorry, there's going to be a fee for ice skating, but there's going to be free activities and hot chocolate and food and things of that nature there. So yeah, these are with the Revive dollars. So we'll be, it's essentially free to the community. So it'll be a great family event. So we'll make sure that you are on the list and have a list of what those things that are happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Commissioner Gomez.
My only thing I wanted to say, aside from thank you to all the staff that continue to do amazing work in Santa Ana, and I'm just loving all the new programs that are coming up. I don't know if the new commissioners have commissioner t-shirts or polos. I'm not sure if you guys got that. I know last time I have one, and I know that another commissioner ordered them. Lisa, I do have a contact, or if you have contacts, I could help coordinate with that. But I think it would be good, especially if they're going to go to events, it could be more like identifiable if they have their shirts. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. We'll connect Mr. Sandoval, if you can get everyone's shirt size, and we'll get those ordered quickly.
We'll do, Executive Director.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Commissioner Wu from Ward 5.
Thank you very much, commissioners. I'm technically challenged sometimes, so starting the meeting, but I'm glad I could be included. I also want to say that I'm very glad about the Symphony on the Go. I think these kind of concerts are good for the community to have some diversity, so I really recommend that we keep doing those, and the movie nights I really like. I myself are doing a harvest festival at El Salvador Park, is where the neighborhood for the last 5 years has been giving out free pumpkins, and we help children decorate those pumpkins. And also the reason I want to know is that I've also done La Posadas, is Christmas caroling around the park too. So I'm putting that on my agenda. And so I like it that the policies of the new policies will be easier for me to apply for as I go with the different neighborhood association events. So thank you very much for that. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I think that just leaves me. I understand that last council meeting, there was kind of a robust conversation about the updating of the city's urban forests and the trees. And I wanted to know the perspective of Parks and Recreation and how they view this issue.
Yes, we follow the same urban forest policy within the city, just as the Public Works Department. And so we are like, as far as maintaining our I think some of the questions that came about was like, do you use, oh God, I can't,
native trees?
The native
right?
tree. Oh yeah. Oh yes. The jacaranda. So Councilmember Fan talked about removing the jacaranda trees because they're very, they're very messy and they really don't provide shade. They stink. And then like what are the other trees, Ron? Palm trees. Those don't provide much shade and things of that nature. So trying to have drought tolerant plantings and trees and things that provide shade, we totally agree with. And also we want to make sure we have shade over our amenities in the parks, our playgrounds. But anything that we can do to replace our trees, like the cypress trees are really not great trees to have. They're really messy also. So having trees that are conducive to this area is what we need to plant. And I think Ron is doing that with his volunteers that are coming in and planting. Ron can talk about the specific species because I mess up the names. But yeah, we want to make sure that we're following the same thing as the Public Works, as a city as a whole. We have a problem really trimming our trees because they're dangerous when we don't attend to our trees. We used to have a budget of only $50,000 for all of our trees in the parks, and they need to be, and then we got it moved to 250,000, and that's still not enough. So we want to keep our trees healthy. There was like a beetle bug that really killed a lot of our trees because we couldn't attend to them. So we need to continue to add money in that area in the future. So anything else, Ron, you want to add?
You are absolutely correct. A lot of the trees that we have selected with our volunteer planting program has been oak trees, drought tolerant trees. Next month in my report, you'll probably see some planting that staff has done with drought tolerant planting at the ribbon cutting event for the fitness court. You have probably seen some drought tolerant, not only trees, but ground cover. We've been planting a lot of Mexican feather grass, which is a drought tolerant plant. So we're following the urban tree forest planning process. So we understand it, and so hopefully the city will go in the right direction in saving water and providing shade.
A lot of the times also that we plant something and it's ripped out of the ground. So we deal with that a lot. So anyway, but our heart's in the right place.
The other thing the commission should know is that we also have worked with West Coast arborists, and they have done a tree survey of all the trees in our park sites. So we have a record of all the trees in our park sites, when they were planted, how big they are, when they're going to be trimmed next. So we're systematically trying to keep a record of all our trees and also our newly planted trees. We're struggling along because of the lack of staffing, but we're trying to keep up with making sure that report is complete.
Do we know when the next kind of tree planting event is coming up? Or
actually, the Stanbridge University has asked me the same question. So we'll try to plan another one, maybe first of next year, and with the Stanbridge University, and plant some more trees at Santiago Park.
Great, yeah. Please keep me updated. This is something I'm really interested in, and I mean, every year it's just getting hotter and hotter, and I know that trees are an easy way to help alleviate that problem. So, but yeah, that concludes my comments. All right. This is the conclusion of tonight's meeting. The next special meeting will take place on Thursday, November 18th, 2021. Meeting adjourned at 6:24. Thank you so much, everyone.